Mortal Kombat! Hi, welcome to Reaction Shots. You all right?
I'm all right.
Welcome to Reaction Shots for June, I think, of 2019, probably. This time, Huber's having some kind of respiratory issue, and we're talking about video game movie adaptaciones.
Excellent. Excelente.
I would argue that a few of them are pretty good.
One of them is phenomenal. A few are pretty good.
I would wager that you and I think that different ones are phenomenal.
I bet.
Which one do you think is phenomenal?
Mortal Kombat. Best of the best.
Mortal Kombat, really good. I have a huge special place in my heart for, do you know what?
Silent Hill.
I mean, Silent Hill I think is good.
Yeah.
But the one that's my favorite,
Super Mario Bros.
Super Mario
Bob
Bros.
Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins,
Yep.
dude. I love Bob Hoskins, dude.
Totally.
John Leguizamo.
Totally. The late, great
Bob
Dennis
Hoskins.
Hopper.
Oh,
and
Dennis
Bob
Hopper,
Hoskins.
yeah.
Seriously.
But yeah, there are a lot. I was going to list them all out, but nah. Not worth it. You know what they are.
You know.
And the ones you can't remember, good, probably, that you can't remember it. By the way, we're trying out this like animated loop on the screens for those of you watching this visually and not audibly.
Seems a little active
Might be a little
for
busy.
me.
Maybe a little busy.
It's a little, I'm OCDing out.
We'll see.
It's freaking me out.
But I did a cool transition where it does.
It like loops back. I see it. It's really clean. It's
Well,
really
we'll see
cool.
what happens. But anyway, it was kind of a short notice post, and so I thought we wouldn't get that many comments, but we actually got a lot, like 57.
Good grief.
So I tried to get a little something from everybody in there, but if I don't mention your comment, I am sorry. But there were some good ones. There were some
Are we
good
diving
ones.
right in?
I think
What
we're
are
gonna.
we-
I think
where are
we're
we
gonna
starting?
lean on the comments this time because everybody had really good stuff to say.
Cool.
Okay, so we started out with my main question was: are there any good video game movies?
Yeah.
And I'd say yeah.
Yeah, there's a handful.
There are a handful, but
Definitely.
probably like just a handful.
Yeah.
Like, let's name the
Let's
good
name
ones.
them. Let's name them.
The according to us, we'll
Yeah.
see, the comments might mention different, but to me, in my mind, the good ones.
And good doesn't have to be quality. Good can just be like
Right.
fun
Right,
to
right,
watch.
right.
Okay.
We've mentioned Super Mario Bros. And Mortal Kombat. Obviously, Silent Hill was
Hill.
actually pretty good.
Warcraft.
What?
Loved it.
It was universally maligned.
We saw this as a group, a bunch of us.
I missed that one.
Yeah, it was like Ben was there and Brad was there. I think Bossman. We saw it in the IMAX.
I want Duncan Jones
I think you
to
were
succeed.
You were working because I remember we all went as a big group to see it, and we all came out pumped up, so pumped. Warcraft was a really good time. I would love to see another one. I would absolutely love it. There's some hokey parts, some not so good parts, but there was a lot of good stuff there. All the orc stuff was really well done. Gul'dan was a great villain. Like the intro of it is so awesome. I recommend checking it out, not listening to the reviews, making up your own mind.
Well, okay.
Yeah, I endorse it.
I mean, I like Moon quite a bit. And Source Code was all right.
Yeah.
Where were we? Detective Pikachu, I hear, is good. I
haven't
didn't
seen
see
it.
it.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen
so
it.
we both missed that one. I was preoccupied.
I got one more recent one. Random. Rampage.
Several people mentioned Rampage.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Well done.
I want to hear your. The other day,
Yeah.
yesterday, 2 days ago, you were like livid. You came out the gate swinging.
I love when I come out the gate swinging.
And you were just like, people who love video games
Yeah.
need to support kaiju movies. I'm pissed.
Yeah.
Not enough people are going to see King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
I'm just like, whoa, dude.
Because it all goes back to the Kojima Pacific Rim tweet. Where he's like, if you can't call yourself Japanese unless you support like kaiju movies, like go see
Including
this.
Pacific Rim?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's one of those
Wow.
like ashamed of your words and deeds
What a
situation.
claim, dude.
Yeah. Yep.
You can't call yourself Japanese.
Yeah.
Damn.
Classic Kojima line.
What would be the American equivalent of that in cinema? You can't call yourself American unless you go see...
I mean, it would have been Westerns a while ago, maybe, but like not anymore.
Now it's just Marvel
Unless
movies, I
you
guess.
subscribe to Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and Crackle.
Crackle! Get Crackle the hell out of there. I don't subscribe to Hulu either, actually.
Hulu's good.
Omar does, though.
Veronica Mars is coming to Hulu.
Veronica Mars is coming to
The
Hulu?
new miniseries in like a week or two.
Dang, I gotta get on that. All right, Veronica. You got me. Can't you get it through Amazon or something? I don't know.
I think this is a Hulu get.
Hulu. That makes me think of Wooloo, the best Pokemon of all time.
Wooloo.
Wooloo. It's just a sheep.
That's great.
It's amazing. All right. Anyway, David Warren mentioned.
Are we gonna?
Huh?
Sorry, last time I interrupt you, but not.
Are
we going to be getting into a Resident Evil section? Like will
we
there
are
be
now.
Okay.
We are now. Cool. I'll write it in here.
Cool,
I'll just flip to a page at random and write Resident Evil.
Over $1
section.
billion for that franchise in the box office. Isn't that
Looks like the Resident Evil section is going to come in the middle of some other section. So
Excellent.
We'll get into it.
Cool.
Okay. David Warren says, I think the Silent Hill is the best all-around video game movie. It's a major shame the follow-up didn't live up to it. Yeah, I didn't see the sequel.
No, not good.
There's just one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Silent Hill 3D, is that like the actual name of it?
It was like Silent Hill Requiem, maybe, or something.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right.
But it was not.
Is there a third one?
I think just 2.
Okay.
I think 2 total.
I feel like I'm hunched over more than usual. Are our chairs higher than normal?
I don't know. All right.
It's freaking me out.
Yeah.
Whatever. Happy
Active
gaming.
I'm going to mess up your shot, Ian.
Just way off the top. Happy Gaming says, contrary to popular opinion, I actually find the Super Mario Bros. Movie fascinating and really enjoy it. It succeeds not at capturing the source material, but at creating an adaptation that exists separately aside from it. I agree 100%. I don't even think it's an unpopular opinion. I think that movie's Class A.
It's aged well.
Yeah, dude. Practical effects.
Yeah.
That movie, here's the thing. There's a special kind of like movie that like if you just go weird enough, you know?
Yeah.
It'll stand the test of time.
Fun weird.
Yeah, not gross like weird.
Yeah.
Like some like Aeon Flux, the old Aeon Flux animation just like skeeves me out, you know?
Weird,
It's just weird. Everything's like elongated.
Yeah.
Makes me upset.
I've never seen it.
I tried. Maverick Summers also likes the Mario movie. Not sure if it counts, but Scott Pilgrim is fantastic. I would count it because it's heavily influenced by video game cultures and modalities.
Sure, yeah.
I remember when I walked out of Scott Pilgrim for the first time I saw it in theaters. I was like, they did it. They captured the feeling of our generation of like video gamers.
Yeah, that movie's great. What were you saying? The shot where he like comes in, you like see the window up in the small frame, and doesn't he like fly through the window or something? There's like a really cool shot.
There are a lot of cool shots.
You were reminding me because I only saw it in the theater. I haven't seen it
my favorite. This is really weird, but my favorite part of that is like the pee meter when he's peeing, and then the pee meter goes down, and then he washes his hand and just taps the back of his hand on the towel as he leaves the bathroom. Scary accurate. Okay.
Freaky, dude. Wash your hands, please.
Yeah, gotta wash those hands. I just fixed there was a rubber or plastic thing falling off my car.
Yeah.
And a guy I know told me to use some kind of like heavy duty 3M tape called like KH. I don't remember the letters. It's like letters. It doesn't even have a name. It's just like letters, this tape.
Yeah.
But he called it a mechanical bond.
Whoa.
It's like stronger than glue. And then I put it on there and I was like, tested it. That puppy ain't coming back off.
We need to use this tape in the studio.
I have it in my car. You could he told me that the panels on the outside of the Walt Disney Opera Hall downtown are held on with this kind of tape, apparently.
Whoa.
Like,
I
what?
want to break something now, so we have to use this tape.
Yeah. We could just like stick something to the wall. Anyway, I don't know why I thought of that. Sorry. Jeffrey Tessar says, I know it isn't a movie, but Castlevania on Netflix is, in their opinion, the best adaptation of any video game into visual media. Hope to hear the opinion of us, as I know we love it. Yeah. I still haven't finished season 2.
I'm halfway through season 2.
I know, but I love it. Like, I love it. I just haven't been able, like, I've only ever had, when it came out, we were working really late, so I kept trying to watch it at like 1 a.m. and then I kept like passing out.
Because season 2 it's
amazing.
It's amazing.
What I've seen of it so far.
With the co-op guys. That
Oh yeah.
Such a good fight.
But yes, Castlevania is probably like god tier video game adaptation.
Give me that Bloodborne anime, please.
Yo.
Let's get that going.
I was thinking about it. And if someone had the guts to make a Bloodborne movie...
Guts.
Ooh. Do you think they'll ever do a live-action Berserk? That would be too insane. Anyway, but if someone actually did a Bloodborne movie, but, like, just kind of did it...
Yeah.
Where they, like, there's not a lot of talking, and things are just, like, weird and crazy all the time.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty nuts.
Would the Kirkhammer be featured?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Okay, I'm in.
In a game with, like, 14 weapons, you're going to have them all.
I want, like...
Other hunters would use them though, not maybe all the main characters.
I would like them to use it like John Wick uses a shotgun. Just like one select scene where it's showcased.
Going into a village where the hunter thinks they might be chased by werewolves.
Yeah.
Sets a Kirkhammer
yes.
in an alleyway.
Dude.
Just in case. And then it's like coming around the corner. And then, like, uses the weight of the Kirkhammer to, like, get them around the corner. We got to make that movie.
I know.
Chris Martinez, The Rock's Rampage movie.
Yeah.
Had great special effects. The story was good. And a cheese villain. The movie knew what it was, and no one remembers it.
Absolutely. It was so great. That was another IMAX, IMAX one for me. I love Joe Magliano. I love him.
Dude, me too.
Great guy.
Great
love
guy.
The guy. Love him.
Seems like a good guy.
Yeah.
He plays D&D.
Awesome.
He's like obsessed with it.
So
he has like a
cool.
D&D basement. I think they're doing videos now or something.
Nice. Yeah.
Stephen Colbert.
He had like a bit part in that. He was awesome. And then of course The Rock. And I don't know if you remember the trailer, but he's like he's like
caring for what someone else in another comment said that he's like a zookeeper caring for a gigantic animal.
Yes, it's like emotional, dude.
It sounds
Unexpected
awesome.
emotion.
I want to watch this movie, man. I missed
fun.
it.
It's so fun.
Rampage. Who knew?
One of like the most memorable shots. I don't want to spoil it.
Don't spoil it.
I won't. It's so funny.
Logan Tosse. Of the ones I've seen, the ones I really like are Prince of Persia, Rampage, Detective Pikachu, and Ratchet and Clank. I also enjoyed Assassin's Creed, but might be a stretch to actually call it good. Yeah, I didn't see that one.
I've been meaning to watch it. Like, honestly, I've been thinking about that very recently, actually. The last, like, month or so. I'm like, man, I just got to watch Assassin's Creed because it's canon.
It's canon?
This is a canon movie where Marion Cotillard's character is referenced in like Origins or Odyssey, one of them, in emails in there that references her character.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Marion Cotillard is in that? I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I like her.
Yeah, and I
like Fassbender too.
I gotta watch it.
We gotta watch it. Tokyo Slim. Okay. Kind of a long one. Here we go.
Okay.
I will make the case that the Timothy Olyphant and Olga Kurylenko Hitman movie was not void of merit. He had more to say on that, but I cut it for time. Sorry, Tokyo Slim. Also, Silent Hill, as has been previously mentioned, horror games should have been easy pickings for Hollywood, but instead they basically just let Uwe Boll make Alone in the Dark. And then they were just like, nah.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy Spirits Within gets a lot of crap, but I think it was an interesting take. Hearing Steve Buscemi's voice come out of a character in a Final Fantasy property is wild, yo.
Yeah.
And then he says, I made my dad take me to see Mortal Kombat in theaters. In my opinion, it holds up.
Heck yeah.
That is a jolly, like, go see with your dad movie, probably. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I saw it with my brother, I remember.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I really don't like the Hitman movie.
Really? I want to hear about this.
I just don't like it. And I love the Hitman franchise. It's part of my screen name. I love it so much. and Timothy Olyphant also.
I love Timothy
one of
Olyphant.
my all-time favorite
I like
actors.
Olga Kurylenko too.
Yeah. This and Max Payne, both. Hard to get through for me. Just didn't really.
Who played Max Payne in that? It was
Mark
Wahlberg.
Wahlberg.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man. That movie gets like weird too.
Yeah, I think they both kind of straddle that weird line where they're like, hey, this one thing is really cool in the game, so we're going to do it a couple times, and then everything else is just like trying to imitate the game without knowing it intimately or really honoring it.
Yeah.
I don't like either of those. I think Max Payne might have been PG-13 also.
Oh. Woof.
Yeah.
We'll get into you mentioned a couple of things that I think are good indicators of why it's so hard to make good video game adaptations. We'll get into that in a second. I just want to get through the rest of the
PG-13.
people. Which ones?
Max Payne.
Max Payne, dude.
You don't do Max Payne PG-13. That is a hard R video game.
Hard R.
The opening 10 minutes of that video game are some of the darkest, bleakest, violent moments in games.
Yeah.
Disturbing.
And it gets really weird.
Yeah, it gets weird. Creepy weird.
You got to get R-rated weird.
Yeah. Should have Refn or someone do Max Payne.
That would be dark.
Mm-hmm.
Probably it'd actually work out, though.
I think
that's a good pull.
I think it's a good pairing.
That's a good pairing. Cesar Villa says, Capcom had more than a few. Just look at Afternoon Collection. All of those are based on TV shows and are pretty good. And since we are with Capcom, Aladdin for the SNES is pretty good. I think I was supposed to put that in a later section about good. No, that fits here.
It fits.
Brian K. Gann. My personal favorites are the Uncharted video with Nathan Fillion and Portal No Escape by Dan Trachtenberg.
Awesome. So awesome.
Some short call-outs.
Nathan Fillion. Nathan Drake.
How do you feel about Tom Holland being cast as Nathan Drake?
Tom Holland is one of the most adorable,
love him,
jolly, good vibes humans on this planet. So whatever he does, I stand behind him.
I'm assuming, obviously, he's playing some kind of young Drake.
Gotta be.
Because he looks nothing like him.
Yeah. Gotta be
Not that you have to necessarily, but
maybe like an Uncharted. They're going in reverse, so you start with the Uncharted 3 flashbacks.
Yeah. That's what I thought. That was initially what I thought. It was they're doing 3.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Because imagine him really taking that role and making it his own and growing up with it.
If he's playing that, it would be really cool.
Mm-hmm. I
think that Uncharted movies could be very good. Because basically they were just doing Indiana Jones in the first place. Yeah. Trung Nguyen says, Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, still the best. Has the essence of the series. It doesn't overcomplicate things.
Love that.
Gabriel
I haven't
Roy.
seen it in so long.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen it. Gabriel Roy, shout out to... Oh, yeah. I put this one last. Because I want to hear... I didn't know if you knew about this. I didn't know about this. Takashi Miike's Yakuza adaptation.
Yeah, like a dragon.
It follows the first game pretty closely, but it feels pretty hollow as its own thing. Still worth a look for fans.
It was fun. It was a fun watch. It's not it's not the best video game adaptation, and it's not the best Takashi Miike movie, but...
You know what the best Takashi Miike movie is?
You're going to say 13 Assassins.
I am going to say 13 Assassins.
And I will probably agree with you, but it's not my favorite. Yeah.
What do you like, Ichi the Killer?
I really do, man.
Ichi the Killer is good. It's nuts.
I love Tadanobu Asano, the one of the leads in that.
Yeah.
His character in that is
everything in Ichi the Killer is just off the hook.
It is. It's
for in college, for a birthday present, a friend of mine gave me a burned copy of Ichi the Killer and drew. Yeah. I didn't even know he could draw, but drew, had a DVD case that he got a piece of paper and he drew Ichi the Killer with the cut face or whatever. Yeah. Beautiful line art. Drew it for me on the cover of this Ichi the Killer box. He made it for me. And I was like, wow. Awesome. Yeah, I was honored. And then I watched the movie and I was like, wow, this is nuts.
Yeah. he does a lot of Yakuza movies. One of them's called like Dead or Alive, maybe. There's like a couple of them.
Huh.
Also one of my favorites.
I haven't even heard of that one.
It's good. It's
cool.
It gets weird like Mike does.
Love it when it gets weird. Okay. You alluded to this a second ago, but why is it so hard to make a good video game movie, Michael Huber?
I think because I feel like a lot of them are trying to go both ways. They're trying to make a good movie for people that have no idea what the video game is, and they're also kind of trying to honor the video game. So I think it's hard to just either pick one or find a balance. Like if you're going big budget like Resident Evil or Warcraft, you're in the Hollywood system. You probably don't have as much freedom and leeway. So you're just trying to make a movie and trying to like get big box office numbers. So you can't really focus in on like, we're just going to go straight one for one from the video game. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe just the Hollywood system kind of meddles around because there's so many people involved, like producers trying to get in there and just like maybe they just doubt that that's what gamers want to see. Like total spitball and theorizing, like Resident Evil, right? Do you think maybe they were like, we don't really want to just do the game but a movie. We don't want to do Jill and Chris in a mansion.
Right.
Because they can just play it. They don't want to watch it. So they want to have like the elements of the game but like make it their own thing.
I mean,
I feel like a lot of the people involved just don't know the source material.
It's
like the
I think
main
that's
thing.
the main thing. 'Cause I think you're giving them too much credit.
Yeah.
Like, I think that they just go, Resident Evil, it's in a mansion, it's scary, and there's an evil corporation. And that's like all they knew.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. But I think that you touched a lot on a lot of the theories that people in our comments had, so I think we can use these as springboards pretty effectively. Stephen Beaumont said, I just liked this. It's kind of aspirational.
Cool.
All right, we're going to do a visualization exercise here. Imagine you're watching Gerard Butler creeping along the floor. He spots a broken blade. Slowly, he picks it up, pulls out some tape from his back pocket, and makes a shiv. He inches forward and quietly unlocks a door with his new shiv, but it breaks. The sound of a clicker can be heard above the sound of his breath. He looks around, sees a beer bottle, and tosses it in the opposite direction, smashing and distracting the clicker so that he may make his escape. I just thought that was fun.
Love it. Love it.
Brian Denu says, video game movies are hard to make because, like any adaptation, there's a temptation to redo the story that already exists, which means turning a video game narrative into a film narrative. What is hard to fathom is that narratives don't always translate across different media. The best and most distinct video game movies, Super Mario Bros. And Detective Pikachu, both take the existing property but make something unique from them, for better or worse, and thus create something specifically for film rather than retell a story that has already been told or build upon video game canon. I think that, well, we'll get into it because someone else says here, Rammer says, I think this comes down to the talent or studio you build around your movie. Mm-hmm. Yes, we have a big name actors such as Angelina Jolie or Michael Fassbender, but the most important ingredient is the creative force behind the project. Video game movies have not struck it big with a proven name or studio. Imagine a Christopher Nolan movie based on Dark Souls, or an Alfonso Cuarón movie based on Metroid Prime. The movies would undoubtedly be amazing. I think it's only a matter of time before we see something like this happen, as video games become more popular and catch the eyes of new talented directors and writers.
Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid. It's going to be good.
You know,
we've got him.
You think Guillermo will direct it?
No, it's Voight Roberts.
Wait, it's already happening?
Yeah, he's like doing it, right?
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, let me see if it's
I was going to say Guillermo
on.
del Toro is a no-brainer for some of these because like he's in video games with Kojima.
Yeah.
But I think those two answers sum it up really well, where it's like the ones that get it right
rumored.
Rumored.
Still not 100% going
Rumored.
down.
A Metal Gear Solid movie would be dope.
It's in development, and he gets it, and he like knows Kojima.
Who is this?
Jordan Voight Roberts.
Who's
Jordan
that?
Voight Roberts. He did Kong. Kong
Skull Island?
Yep.
I didn't hate Skull Island.
Mm-hmm. It's good. It's good.
But like, because the example that comes to my mind based on that first comment about how Super Mario Bros. And Detective Pikachu kind of went their own way, struck their own path, and that was successful. Again, I think of Resident Evil.
Yeah.
We can do the Resident Evil section now if you want to. But
yeah, I think it really fits this actually because I do love the first one.
I think it's probably the best in the series.
Yes, for sure. But initially, I was so upset that they brought in Mila Jovovich. I love her. But I was so upset that they like invented this Alice character because I was like, dude, where's Chris? Where's Jill? Where's Wesker? Where are all these characters? So then the next one, the next one, Resident Evil Apocalypse is Nemesis. Resident Evil Apocalypse number 2 is Nemesis, and they bring in Jill. It is absolutely the worst Resident Evil movie by a mile, and it was trying to be more faithful to the game. And as that franchise went on, anytime they had elements from the game, it was way worse. And through it all, Mila Jovovich's character Alice became the reason I was invested in those movies, the reason I wanted to go. I was like, because it's giving me something the games don't. It's like, all right, this character is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, dude, put her in her own game. I'm down with it. Like, I love her character, and they like put the focus on her, and anytime they tried to do anything game related, it just fell flat.
I tend to agree, actually. And it's interesting because, the first one, I think, is probably the best. Still not a great, movie. And I think it comes down, again, to, like, the talent. And I wonder if it's that, something like FAAP, F-A-A-I-P, says, my running theory for why video game movies always turn out like garbage is that historically games have been viewed as a lesser art form, or not even an art form, and that more competent filmmakers, or I would extend that to studios at large, have little to no interest in adapting them into a film. I think that's hitting the nail on the head. Is like, it's seen as a cash grab. Because they're like, we're going to get the built-in audience of the game.
It's already a brand.
Yeah, it's a brand.
Resident Evil's huge.
And then they don't have to do the like legwork to make it its own thing or make it stand on its own, which is kind of a bummer.
It is, yeah.
But like, Resident Evil is a really weird case because if you're in the mood for that kind of like wacky schlock, they're actually kind of fun.
They were fun.
Like,
they're like,
some
of them are terrible.
There are definite dips.
And the finale had the potential to like redeem everything, or not redeem everything, but the finale had a chance to end on a high note, and it was just all right. It wasn't great.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. They had Sir Jorah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Jorah Mormont.
Jorah Mormont, dude.
Legend.
The dude classes up a scene, I'll tell you that.
He really does.
He brings in some class.
Dude.
Don't know his actor's name.
Ian Glenn.
Ian Glenn, that's right. Yep.
Legend.
Jorah Mormont.
Saw. Class act. The liquor was cool in the first one. I love the liquor.
And the freaky dogs.
The zombie dogs.
And the scene down with all the, like, when they first get kind of down into the hive or whatever.
Laser field.
Oh, that's very Cube.
Yeah.
That's just like straight out of Cube. But I remember there's a scene with Michelle Rodriguez. They're like they're around like a bunch of like, I don't think they're storage containers, but they're like blocky things. And that part, maybe that's the liquor part.
Yeah, it's near the end.
Yeah, where they get down in there. Yeah. There's some cool sequences.
Yeah.
And just the way the lab looks is really cool.
The lab is cool.
Like when the vial
one is
falls.
aged better,
Yeah, I need to watch those again. Well,
no.
Maybe just one.
No, yeah.
Or not.
Or not.
Eliana says, rarely the game developers are involved in the filmmaking. I think, and the ones in charge of the film, director, casting agent, etc., are most likely not knowledgeable on the content enough to grasp and especially capture what makes the game so successful and loved. Also, they try to give it their own twist to the story and try to cover a sub-story that, for combined reasons mentioned above, also turns out to be a bad idea. Tyler Gardner says, games are typically just too big. I think filmmakers fall into a trap of trying to condense a 20 to 60-hour story into 2 rather than tell their own take. I think TV adaptations generally work better for this reason, and that's why anime adaptations of Japanese games can be pretty solid, Persona, or very, very good, Steins Gate.
And that is why Mortal Kombat is the best, because the premise is so simple.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to the Mortal Kombat, Earthrealm, gotta beat Shang Tsung and Goro, let's go, done. Well, now you just focus on your characters. You don't have to worry about all this plot.
Well, and it's a different situation when you're adapting a fighting game.
Yeah.
That obviously I know has story in it, but like has less than the runtime of a film's worth of story in it, probably, right?
At that time, yeah. It's pretty. Mortal Kombat brought a lot of lore to the fighting genre, which is cool.
Right.
But yeah, not a lot.
Certainly less than And so when you're filling in the gaps to make a film, it's probably a better prospect than shaving down The Witcher 3 into a movie, or whatever. Oh, The Witcher 3.
The Witcher 3.
I didn't even,
The
I
Witcher's
forgot.
coming.
I forgot about
Henry
the Netflix.
Cavill.
Henry Cavill, dude.
What in the
Cavill,
world?
Cavill?
Yeah,
and like those weird armor. Did you see the shots of the armor? Like
revolting.
To be fair, though, in defense of The Witcher 3 and Netflix, costumes in the wrong lighting usually look pretty janky. Like, they don't look great if they're not in the right lighting. That said, those look pretty damn janky. They're just wrinkly nightmares.
I know. I'm so worried about it.
Oh, boy.
Nothing to lose, though.
Nothing to lose.
Just play the game if it's terrible.
Yeah. Or just die. Yeah. Oh, man. I had totally forgotten that was even happening. Oh, man. Max Miller says, I think the video games are evolving into experiences that surpass what film is capable of. One example of this is player choice affecting the outcome. You used to scream at the screen for the person not to enter that room in a horror film. Now you can just choose not to enter, and the consequences are your own. I think that's one really, really big, obvious difference, obviously, between film and games, player agency. Mm-hmm. Like, you are the one at the reins. And I mean, like, you've got Bandersnatch and like interactive films that like try to do it, and do it, but like there's a narrative hook absent from film that gaming has, and that's you. Mm-hmm. And obviously, like, a well-made film that challenges the audience and asks questions of the audience is engaging the audience. Pulls you in, and, like, involves you in that way. Mm-hmm. And depending on the film, like, I think of a movie like Upstream Color, mm-hmm. one of my favorite movies ever, which, is very visual storytelling, and it, like, you've got to, like, be present and put it together, mm-hmm. Like, it's work. And I really, really like that. So in that sense, I think films can be interactive, even though it's a passive medium, quote unquote.
Totally.
But yeah, I mean, definitely that's missing from most video game adaptations mm-hmm. of films.
Yeah.
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 Do filmmakers do too much in trying to change the story, or do they not do enough?
I think it's case to case.
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird. Again, the later Resident Evil movies, they like one of them they just like threw in the Resident Evil 4 like baghead axe hammer guy.
Yeah.
Just shows up, and it's like,
because why not?
Because why not? Like, hey, let's get a video game reference in there. So
I just
it
remember
comes
that
off
I bought
lazy.
Resident Evil 4 for my Switch.
Good pickup.
Stoked.
Oh my god, I bought that game like 7
times.
times.
I've bought that game, so many times. But yeah, I think Logan Taus says, I think, tweet me how to pronounce your last name. It's a very interesting last name. Tawse. Says, I think it's better to change the story so it's not just a complete retread of the games, but a new story should still feel like one that could have been an actual sequel to the games. That's where a lot of filmmakers seem to go wrong. They just take a hard left from what the games were like, so the movies only seem related in name alone. And I think that's kind of what Resident Evil became.
Yeah.
I think like in Resident Evil's case, like they kind of set out on that path, and then it ended up being a better choice for them to not try to go back, like you said. But what were you gonna say?
I just had a thought. The gameplay. The gameplay is so important. So how do I explain this? Okay, I think Mortal Kombat is so freaking awesome because it's a fighting game and there's awesome fights. Resident Evil, to me, I love the story, like obsessively.
Yeah.
But also, it's about that feeling of surviving, that feeling of managing your inventory and ammo, and that fear. It's not just the scares, but it's about like that slow burn and that like exploration
And discovery.
and the movie doesn't do that. And other adaptations as well. Rampage was awesome because the game is about monsters messing shit up.
It has
and
like
that's what the movie
one
was.
story element.
Yeah. So I think if they capture the feeling of the gameplay in the movie, then you've nailed it, and that is so rare.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I still think that you could tell a condensed version of the Resident Evil 1 story.
You do it like Die Hard.
In a film.
Horror Die Hard,
Yeah.
dude. Like, I
Trying
think
to get
of
out.
McClane, like, counting his bullets, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of that.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like, I think that film could be a total banger.
Like, if you have the actor find bullets and I, as an audience member, am like, yes, you've done it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they find a shotgun. You're like, yes. Go.
And like, I don't even think you could, like, I think you could even have some of the weirder like video game stuff in a film and have it be believable. Like stuff like, because the Spencer Mansion in the story of the games was constructed, and the characters in the game are like, man, this is weird.
Yeah.
Like having to do puzzles to open doors and stuff. They think it's strange too, and it's mentioned that the mansion was built by crazy people. And it's just like, you could do that in a movie too.
Yeah.
And just make it part of the mystery.
Totally.
Man, you could make such a cool Resident Evil movie.
I know. Because the anime ones are okay, but just okay. More actiony. Because they came out around the time of like 5 and stuff.
Yeah, okay. All right. But I feel like we've ragged on what movies get wrong about video games for long enough.
Yeah.
Let's talk about things that maybe not even in straight up all video game adaptation movies, but just film on the whole. Moments that emulate games and take a page from video gaming to put them into a filmic language. I mean, the things that immediately spring to mind to me are the sequence from The Beach when he's like high out of his mind and he's like running like, and it's all pixelated.
Yeah.
I don't really think that movie's all that great, but like, and then Doom, of course, the first person part.
Yep.
But yeah, I asked what successful moments from films emulate video games.
Okay.
And we got some really interesting responses.
Excellent. I'm pumped about this.
Liz Castro says the first person part in Doom is so good. Also, Detective Pikachu is a great video game movie. As someone who played it, I kind of already knew what the story beats, but watching Pokemon roaming the world was amazing. And honestly, I think that makes a movie a great adaptation. It's the fact that the director and VFX teams didn't lean on the premise, but on the novelty of seeing these characters in a 3D space. It's also what makes the first-person part in Doom so badass. It leans on a sensory novelty that can only be achieved through film. Michael Reboletto says, I recently watched a great new... Oh, I loved this one. I recently watched a great new documentary film called The Biggest Little Farm, which I haven't seen, but the description of it, I cut it down, which unintentionally reminded them of a slow burn progression in video games like Harvest Moon and Sim City, because it's about a couple that buys an infertile farm and then just like slowly makes it better.
Awesome.
Which is awesome. Like unintentionally, like they said, makes it feel like that. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Space Dom says, I'm always fond of Speed Racer for being essentially a Mario Kart movie. For example, although it does have some wicked fight scenes too.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. And I mean, that's based on the old the cartoon?
I think it was
manga?
on manga first.
And then, anime or whatever. But yeah, I mean, basically Mario Kart, the movie.
Yeah. Totally. I never even thought of that. That's so great.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of it like that either. And I mean, like, there are parts of like Alita Battle Angel that are,
Alita.
yeah, that are like the roller derby parts and stuff, like very video gamey.
Yeah.
Well, now the Roller Champions is out. It looks kind of similar.
Yeah.
Tokyo Slim, previously mentioned by someone else, but Scott Pilgrim does this really well. There's also movies based off fake games like Tron. Many people forget that the game Tron was based off a movie, not the other way around. The Last Starfighter is another one of these kinds of movies that I think works pretty well. Jesse Blue brings up War Games.
War Games, classic.
Which of course has centered around that whole thing. And then Cloak and Dagger, which involves like it's a cartridge, I think, that's like stolen and someone gets murdered for it. I haven't seen it either, but I just heard about it. Alan Candlick, I wouldn't really call it a moment since it's the whole movie, but Hardcore Henry. For the uninitiated, it's a first-person point of view action movie, and it does it so well. It's funny, weird, violent, and stars Sharlto Copley. 10 out of 10. It does exactly what it sets out to achieve. Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it. Maniac is a similar conceit where like you're looking through the eyes of a serial killer for the entire movie. I hear that's a crazy movie. I haven't seen that one.
Freaky.
Have you seen that one?
I haven't seen Maniac.
Oh, yeah.
Hardcore Henry was really fun. I remember thinking it went on a little too long.
Sure.
Because it's like a little too much. Like even John Wick 3, oh, don't hurt me. Even John Wick 3, at one point, I was like, maybe end this shootout. Like,
yeah. No, I kind of agreed. I thought
there is a point when it's too much.
John Wick 3, was longer than it needed to be. Had maybe one too many action sequences. I still liked it.
Still a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
still
still
a 10
loved
out of 10.
it. Yeah, still loved it. Maybe 2 is my favorite though.
2's my favorite.
Yeah.
2's my favorite.
So far. Anyway, I just thought that'd be a fun kind of diversion because and I mean obviously other films have used the language of games just as games all the time use the language of films.
Yeah.
But here, now we get into the meat and potatoes. Well, just the fun part. The meat and potatoes we already through. Which games would make great movies?
Which games would make great movies? Bloodborne. We were just talking about it.
Bloodborne. Bloodborne.
I want to see the highest budget Kirk Hammer kill on an IMAX. It's all I want now. I'm going to be thinking about this for the next month straight.
Yeah.
I need it. I see it in my mind, Ian. Can you imagine the thunderous slam in the IMAX with that sound and then just like a werewolf head exploding?
Yeah, blood and brain and pus everywhere. Blood-starved beast, just like mucus everywhere. Kirk Hammer.
Who's making this though? We gotta find it. I mean, it's got some like Mountains of Madness.
I was gonna say Guillermo. Guillermo was my first pick, but the thing I wonder about though, Guillermo. Well, no, Guillermo has done like crazy violence before.
Yeah,
like Pan's Labyrinth has some shocking stuff in it.
Yes, graphic stuff. Blade 2, phenomenal fight scenes.
Yeah, dude.
Pacific Rim as well. Great. The scope of it as well.
I think
he's
Guillermo,
got it all.
I think Guillermo could do it, and he would finally get. He would finally, Oh, yeah. Hellboy basically had the Cthulhu stuff in it. He would finally get to really go Lovecraftian too.
Yeah.
Yo, and like sanity elements.
Please, Guillermo, save us.
Oh, dude, Guillermo would be perfect for the Bloodborne movie. Guillermo, tweet at Guillermo del Toro.
Real GDT.
Yeah, real GDT. Please make a Bloodborne movie. I'd sign that petition. Dan Sebring says, I think personally, I rather see movies on games I am not too invested in. I would not like to see a Shenmue movie, as that game means too much to me. I don't need a movie for that.
Yeah, some things you just really don't need a movie for,
right.
Honestly. Like The Last of Us, the idea of it's cool, but like I really don't know if I need it, you know?
Well, it's basically already a movie.
Yeah, The Road.
It's basically already a movie. Don't jump down my throat. Don't jump down my throat.
Like whereas Uncharted,
right? It's basically already a movie.
Totally movie. Like I want to see that spectacle. I want to see the action,
and
the
it
adventure.
has more potential for being like funny.
Yeah.
But that person goes on to say on the next page here, Dan Sebring, Jet Rider, Jet Moto, the old PlayStation racing game, would be cool to do a movie around. The game has no plot, but cool vehicles and settings and cool characters would lend itself to a movie without the risk of angering any hardcore fans. Also, Jet Set Radio and Dead Space.
Dead Space.
Dead Space would be a perfect movie.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a very good movie.
And it's like the Alien franchise has dipped so hard with AVP and Prometheus that it's like, do it. You know, I think people are hungry. I think people would give it a chance. The name is already there.
Yeah.
And you can capture that Alien vibe, but you have your own spin on it.
And lots of dismemberment.
Yeah.
Could be cool.
Necromorphs.
Necromorphs, dude.
Top tier video game enemy.
It's true. Alex McMillan says, I find it interesting that games have evolved as a medium. Oh, I find it interesting that as games have evolved as a medium, it's managing to tackle some movie genres it hasn't before.
I get it.
I made it. Life is Strange did Coming of Age. Final Fantasy 15 did Road Trip. But I think there's still one genre that games really struggle with. Romance. Why do you think games struggle with romance?
I mean,
while films can't exist without it. Is it something that will change as technology progresses, as developers mature? Or is it something games just aren't made to handle? There have been a few good video game romances.
There have been.
Mass Effect 2 has a good arc.
You already said it. Life is
strange.
Life is strange.
You know what I think it mostly comes down to is it's hard to make video game characters kiss and not look weird.
Mm-hmm. That's why the Last of Us Part 2 trailer they showed where Ellie and I forget her name, but Ellie has that kiss.
And it actually looked kind of good.
Yeah. I don't know that, like, the tech side of everything, but I guess technical people were like, whoa.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
That's like, I don't fully know but I mean, I guess collisions and whatever, but like, apparently it's very hard. And then you can imagine making two models basically like come together and like, without clipping through, like, because the face is so plastic, and when you're kissing, everything's moving around, you know? So it'd be, I imagine it's very difficult.
Nathan and Elena, Uncharted. It's one of my faves.
I think she got short shrift in 4.
Dude.
For at least like the majority of the first part of it. Like, I know that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
But it made me irritated. I was like, aren't we past this? Nathan? Haven't we learned?
Dude, when she walks in on him.
Yeah.
So good. That look, man.
Walks in on him, not cheating on her.
No. He's,
although kind of, with the job.
Yeah, he's pulling another job. Dude, the look of like disappointment. Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it. I think it has to do with mechanics too. I think it's, if you like, how do you do a that's why Life is Strange, I think, nails it. But like, do you make a rom-com video game? Like, what would that be mechanically?
Well, I mean, and we'd be remiss here if we did not mention the entire subgenre of dating sims.
Of course.
Which, of course...
So many indie games,
Of course, many of them are very good, too. And, like Lady Killer in a Bind and all this kind of stuff, like, they do it, and it exists.
But the AAA budget.
Well, and also, like, those are games that are romance or sexual just in nature. Mm-hmm. But I think what Alex McMillan was suggesting is like games that aren't romance games don't tend to have a romantic arc, whereas movies almost always do.
Got it.
I think that was the point, and I do think that's an interesting point.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's just because in a game you're not there for that, unless you're there for that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Unless you're like specifically, I want a romance. You don't go and play on,
well, we had the
Bloodborne.
We had the whole like 2000s decade of I'm a dude that's here to kill.
Yeah. We're still in that. That didn't go away.
It's taking a back seat more, I feel like.
You're right. The developer interview we had for Doom Eternal, they hinted at strong romantic entanglement.
Yo, will there be romance in Death Stranding?
Yes.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
I think that I got the impression that you and Leah Seydoux used to be lovers or something. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of used to be lovers in Death Stranding. Like a lot.
Yeah.
Probably.
We used to be close.
Yeah.
It's going to be a common theme.
Dude, I'm stoked for that game. Whatever. All right. Mike Hook 1 says, the issue I see with video game movies is that they're all made into big blockbuster types. I understand the thought to find the mainstream games most non-gamers are familiar with, but honestly, I believe it doesn't matter. A good movie can succeed no matter the property it comes from. A great movie adaptation of a smaller franchise, such as Life is Strange, Shenmue, Steins Gate, with a $20 million budget, has more of a chance of profiting than a $150 million budget of a bad Halo or Gears or World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy. I think that's an interesting point. Maybe go the like smaller budget, guaranteed audience kind of. Yeah.
And I think that's what the Castlevania anime did.
Yeah.
You know? Just so focused,
laser
so specific, just making it 100% for the fans, honing in on what Castlevania is all about.
I agree 100%. David Aird says the nature of rhythm games and such in general has expanded my idea of what makes something feel gamey. So like one of my favorite movies of all time, Sound of Noise, a story about anarchist drummers taking over the city for a 6-part musical masterpiece that utilizes stolen city equipment and resources to perform public demonstrations of music. This feels very stage-based and also reminds me of a lot of games I love like Space Channel 5 or Guitar Man, which would also make fantastic movies in my opinion. Also, they mentioned Nier Automata and Psychonauts would make good movies. I need to watch that movie. Sound of Noise. I remember the trailer.
Awesome.
But I never saw it. Yeah.
Never even heard of that.
All these ideas are so good. Tokyo Slim also says, I humbly submit the following. George Miller to direct Twisted Metal.
Yes.
Yes. Werner Herzog's Papers, Please. Yes. Very, very intense.
That is such an inspired pick.
That is very
my
good.
God.
It's very good. Lord and Miller, Jazz Punk. Coen Brothers, L.A. Noire. That would be very good.
Yeah.
Miller's Crossing vibes.
Yeah.
Panos Cosmatos, Catherine. Oh,
I don't even know who that is.
he did Beyond the Black Rainbow and Mandy.
Okay. Yep.
He would do a wild Catherine. Yeah. And David Lynch, Fez. Very funny. But yeah, I think Werner Herzog's Paper Please is the
That's perfect.
It's too good.
That's unbelievable.
Cathal Fallon says A Quiet Place would make a really good survival horror game adaptation because there are so many bits that create tension. Imagine some weird avant-garde Last of Us where you couldn't talk or make a sound at moments and using bricks and toys of fireworks that led the clickers away.
That's cool.
Movie making a great game.
That's fun. Like Last of Us, but with some kind of like Oxenfree style dialogue system where it's like you need to talk to him, but you can't.
Yeah.
Or something.
Jesse Blue says Neverending Story, which is basically a choose your own adventure movie that a kid creates by reading, would make a good game. James Vest says Fire Emblem would make a killer anime.
You know what video game I want? And there might even be like an NES one.
Huh.
Labyrinth.
Dude.
Labyrinth
I think
game.
There's
got to be
old
some
game.
NES one.
I feel like there might be.
Yeah.
Or like an Apple IIe or something. Yeah. But yeah, like a modern day Labyrinth would be weird. Yeah. Oh, what would that game be?
I don't know. The easy way would be an adventure game, but...
Yeah. Colt Smith said, I would love a CG Zelda movie that tells a great story not attached to any one particular game, but taking events and elements of all of them to craft a unique story. I mixed a few of these in there, but now we're going to talk about which movies would make great games. Tyler Travis says, I've been wishing for the Running Man game for most of my life. I think it is a perfect setup with insane bosses ready for the taking. Also, it helps that it's not a golden goose.
Yeah.
I think that's so good.
So
The Running Man would
good.
be such a funny game.
So good. Imagine like a multiplayer element too, where they're
Spectators?
spectating and they can like vote on traps and stuff, or who comes in.
Although I guess we're basically just describing the battle royale genre, kind of like, but with more spectators.
Yeah, and more focus. Like you have to, go through like Smash TV or something.
Right, I was gonna say Smash TV kind of does it. Yeah. One I thought of. Did you ever see the movie Monsters? I forgot the name of the director.
With Scoot McNairy, or is that Monster? Is it the one with the
the aliens? Yeah.
Yes.
That one.
Yes.
That one I think would make a cool game.
Yeah.
And it could have the romance still. Like Monsters, if you haven't seen it, is kind of an interesting movie. It's
Last of Us,
like
but
small
with
budget.
monsters
It's like
coming?
it's like a Clover. It almost could have been a Cloverfield movie, but like a good. I liked it a lot. I remember liking it a lot. But like you barely see the monsters, but it's just about living in this world where like this whole area, and they're stuck in this infested alien area, and they're trying to get out, and they fall in love or whatever. It's great.
There was a sequel, but I never saw it because I heard
There
it
was a sequel?
Bad. Yeah, I heard it was bad. I don't think the same director did it.
I didn't even know about that. Tyler Gardner says Knights of the Old Republic would make a fantastic movie series, though I think a TV show would be a better idea.
Get ready for Game of Thrones, guys, to do that.
Do you think that's what they're going to do? Because when he said that, I was like, oh, that might be what they're doing.
Yeah, I feel like so because you have like the prequel trilogy, the trilogy, and the Kylo Ren trilogy, and you also have the Rogue One and the Solo spinoffs, and you got the Mandalorian. So like all that is covered.
Yeah.
So like the only place to go, I feel like, is way back.
Way back. I bet you're right.
Because you're not going way.
Ryan Johnson
because
might.
episode 9 will be out before that, so you could just go way in the future, but
Well,
that'd be weird.
I guess my guess is that unless people go crazy and crucify him or whatever, after 9, if Ryan Johnson still gets to make them, they would be at the next trilogy. I hope that Game of Thrones guys aren't doing the next main trilogy because I lack confidence in their ability to do so. But who knows? This one would be dope. Dan Sebring said Akira.
That's what I was gonna say. Because I remember reading in game magazines when I was a kid, Ian. That game was supposed to come out so long ago. I feel like
They were gonna make a game?
Yes, they were gonna make an Akira game.
We weren't ready.
On like PS1 or
Technology
2.
was not there yet.
Yeah, it got canceled. There's like
Cyberpunk basically is the Akira game.
Dude, oh, why can't the motorcycle just be like an Akira motorcycle?
DLC.
Yeah.
CD Projekt Red, please do it. Just do it. Just put his bike in there.
They totally could. There's like an Akira pinball game, and that's about it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't not like a pinball machine, but I think like a pinball game,
Oh, like a video game?
like a video game pinball thing. I
kind of. Is it weird that I kind of want to play that? I want to track that down and play that. Tokyo Slim had some other ideas. The Transporter could make a good game. Yep.
Only if it's. I've got it. If it's a sequel to all of it, the movies are canon, and you're like old Statham.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
They like model him and like make him like aged.
Yep.
That'd be so
And
funny.
they get him to do VO.
Also, he didn't write this, but it just made me think of Crank would be a wild video game.
Yep.
Like, because you just have to keep going and keep your adrenaline up
Yeah.
or you'll die.
Yeah.
So, like, the death state in that, besides getting, like, shot or whatever, is just, like, not going crazy constantly.
Yeah.
That would be the most tiring game.
Yeah.
This is a cool pull. Existence.
Whoa.
You've seen that, right?
Yep. Mr. Law.
What?
Jude Law.
Oh, yeah. Cronenberg movie where it's basically about a video game system, and you could get real weird and meta if it was a game. Enter the Dragon.
Kojima does Existence.
Oh, man. It would be too weird.
Because he would totally work with Cronenberg, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
Collaboration.
Half of that game would just be like live action. You'd have to like have a camera peripheral and like it would like put your living room in the game.
Oh my gosh.
Everything would get all weird. It like skims your Facebook to put like your loved ones in the game.
This is too real. It's freaky. It's freaking me out.
Enter the Dragon would be a good one. And then he said Battle Royale. At this point, let's just do it. Why not?
The movie Battle Royale.
Started it all.
Yep. Oh my gosh. How has somebody not done that? That's genius.
Probably because it's kids.
Probably because it's kids.
Probably because it's kids.
Yeah, okay.
Probably that's why.
Yep.
Morgan Mahala says Inglourious Bastards DLC for Wolfenstein.
Yes.
That would be great.
1,000 times, yes.
Blade Runner DLC or mod for Cyberpunk 2077. Probably
dream.
you're just going to be able to be a runner in that anyway. Black Mirror game by Quantic Dreams.
Sure.
No Country for Old Men cross Paddington.
What?
That's a reference to an Easy Update episode.
Okay.
Check that episode out though if you're interested.
What in the world?
Did I tell you about this?
No.
I planned on making because I have long held that No Country for Old Men is basically a perfect movie.
Yep.
And several friends, including James Willems, have told me that Paddington 2 is a perfect movie.
Yep.
And so I was like, okay, I'm going to watch Paddington 2. And then I was going to make like a snarky video essay, like, cutting between like grotesque violence and Paddington.
Yeah.
But then Paddington 2 just is a perfect movie, and it changed my life with its like total pure joy. And so the video I ended up making was like a philosophical treatise on how like if you combine Paddington 2 with the like nihilistic realism of No Country, you can be like a complete person.
Perfect.
It's real, man.
Circle.
I like believe
It's
it.
so perfect.
It like solidified all of my philosophies.
Oh my gosh.
Fun video game camo. Dan Sebring brought up, I have fond memories of the movie Wayne's World because there's a clip of Sonic 2 in it, he thinks.
Oh, cameos.
And cameos, yeah, what did I say?
Camo.
Oh,
I
cameos.
was thinking of Octo Camo.
Octo camo. But yeah, and then that made me think of the baseball game at the beginning of Princess Bride that he's playing, which I think might just be called baseball.
Yes.
I remember the noise.
So good.
Princess Bride is like my favorite movie. I love that. Final question. We're almost there. We're getting to the
video
end.
game cameos.
That was the only ones I had.
Dude, Super Mario Brothers 3.
In what?
3 ninjas.
Oh, Three Ninjas, yeah.
Or is it
Which one had the Game
Surf
Gear?
Ninjas?
The Surf Ninjas had the Game Gear.
No, they're okay. Yeah.
Which one had the Magic Game Gear? I always forget.
Surf Ninjas. 3 Ninjas for sure has Super Mario Brothers 3 because he's playing it when they say Rocky loves Emily. Rocky loves Emily.
I have like
and he's playing Super Mario Brothers
I was
3.
like a Surf Ninjas kid or something. Like I have
What?
no memory of Three Ninjas.
Dude. One of the greatest.
I just had a Game Gear, so I was like,
like one of the greatest villains pre me experiencing Hans Gruber. Snyder.
In Three Ninjas?
In 3 Ninjas, dude. Snyder. Great villain. He's got like
plays
the
him?
ponytail.
Oh yeah, all 80s villains had the blonde
He's got like the
ponytail.
white like cocaine dealer suit.
I
and
can
the
picture this
ponytail.
man, yeah.
Yep.
I've definitely seen Three Ninjas.
It's amazing. And Snyder was I forget his name. Mr. Miyagi?
Wait, he was played by him?
No. Mr.
Oh.
Miyagi's also in
Oh.
No, it's not. I'm getting all
I'm
my
all-
90s
now I don't know
kung
what
fu.
the hell's going on.
I'm getting all my 90s
Are
kung
you just
fu.
thinking of Karate Kid
Yeah, I'm
now?
thinking of Karate Kid.
What's happening?
I don't know.
We're off the rails. All right, the last question is the Monster Hunter movie going to suck?
So I saw a headline for this the other day, and it said the footage they saw wasn't that bad.
I saw that footage,
Okay.
and it did not look very good. The CG looked pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't.
But they got the costumes and weapons maybe right.
Okay.
So who knows? It was like cam footage. I don't even think it was like a public trailer yet.
I mean, it's Paul Anderson again, who did Resident Evil, most of them.
So like my hopes are low.
Hopes are really low. Expectations are low.
Also, he said, quote, something like this, paraphrasing, there isn't really a story in the Monster Hunter game, so we can kind of do what we want. Which is like, not really accurate.
Yeah.
I love Monster Hunter World, by the way, just
Yeah.
putting that out there. That game is amazing.
Expectations are low, but if you give me one cool hunt, it'll be a success. Like
Yeah.
if you have a cool Anjanath fight scene or Rathalos fight scene, just one good scene is really all I'm asking for.
Like, we're going to
That's
see
how
it.
easy it is to please me with this movie. You give me one good hunt,
Yeah.
and I'll give it a passing grade.
Yeah. Michael Stevens says the Monster Hunter movie could suck, but seeing Diablos burst out of the sand like that at least made me smile.
Cool.
I never expect a masterpiece out of these things, but I do enjoy the campiness, and I'll be there to watch day one regardless of the quality, lol.
Nice.
Me too. Tankman says, hopefully the Monster Hunter movie focuses on the different monsters, because let's be real, the monsters are the true stars of the game. Hoping the CGI is fantastic, but the director's track record with the Resident Evil films ain't so good.
So it's Victor Wong. It was bothering me. Victor Wong in 3 Ninjas.
Is the villain?
No, he's the grandpa.
Oh.
And the villain Snyder was his apprentice.
Oh.
So Victor Wong was in Big Trouble,
Tale as old as time. Oh, okay.
Little China,
The main bad guy in that? Or
Egg Shen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, Big Trouble in Little China is a pretty cool movie. Pretty funny movie. Probably
Jack
racist.
Burton. Huh?
That movie might be pretty racist. It's been a while since I've seen it.
It's been all I remember is Jack Burton.
Yeah. Yasser Karabushi says that Monster Hunter movie is going to suck if taken seriously. Yeah. I personally only see it as a chance to look at Monster Hunter monsters doing wacky stuff on screen. That is, taking into consideration the CGI doesn't suck. Unfortunately, it will have an unnecessary story that would drag even that to the like so maybe the best thing to do is only watch the monster scenes.
Yeah.
And VG...
hopefully they just really get the weapons and the gear and the monsters down at least, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not invested really in the story.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I love just the cozy vibes of like Astera.
Yeah. But again, it's those gameplay elements, right? It's
right.
like please show them just hunting to get some armor.
Yeah.
Like that better be a part of the movie. You better cut something's a tail off.
Well, I think
then carve it.
I think they'll have to because I think if I understand what the story premise is, Mila Jovovich and her cohorts are like American soldiers that get sucked through a portal to Monster Hunter World.
Already
so
has me
unnecessary,
so out. Yeah.
So stupid. Just do the thing. Why does it have to be set in our whatever? But
have Palico's cooking.
Well, oh man,
you better
have Palicos. Come on,
like if there's not a close up,
he won't even have played the game. He's just gonna whatever. He just saw like some sketches of the monsters, but the promotional shots of them, they're wearing military gear, but in this footage she had like crazy armor on. So at some point, either someone hands her armor or she has to make it. You never know.
Better make it. There better be some awesome
you never know.
Old veteran hunter that's like, huh,
with a big scar on his
prove
face right
yourself.
Here.
Go hunt some beasts if you want some armor.
I want to make a bet with you.
Yeah.
How many characters in the Monster Hunter movie will have a scar on the face? And of those, how many will the scar be on the eye?
Okay. There's going to be one with a scar on the eye.
Okay.
And then 2 additional characters with scars on their face.
I think you might be right.
So 3 total.
I was thinking like 3 to 5 facial scar characters in the Monster Hunter movie. One of them might have like a claw, like 3 scar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Like all the way down or something.
Oh yeah. Yep. If it's a woman, it'll go like down the body. If it's a man, it'll just be on the face.
Mila Jovovich will be in a tent with someone, and the guy will take his armor off, and he'll be
covered in scars. Yep.
That'll happen.
Absolutely happening. Yeah. And then she'll go.
I'm willing to bet.
Go, what happened?
Yeah. I'm willing to bet everything on that scene being in this movie. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. VG Junkie says, yes, the Monster Hunter movie is going to suck unless we see Mila Jovovich pull out a charge blade and hit Nergigante in the face with a full elemental discharge.
You know
True.
what's up.
Take that to the bank.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Do you have a quote? We usually do a quote challenge. I hadn't even thought about it.
I haven't even thought. What have I seen recently? I can quote something.
Oh, yeah, we didn't do that. What have you seen recently part of this show either? It's been a hot minute. I've been out of town. Too much to get through.
What I'm watching recently, I don't have a quote, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been rolling on. We are halfway through this season.
Good?
It is good.
Oh,
right
okay.
Now. It is so good because the show was originally going to end. The last episode of the last season was called The End. They thought they were going to get canceled. All of a sudden, Disney is like, yo, 2 more seasons on the house. We got you.
On the house.
Yeah, hey, we got you. So there's 2 more seasons. So I was a little like, I was obviously happy because it's more, but I was also like, well,
they got to bridge the gap for that Disney Plus.
Yeah. I was like, oh, the end was like so good. That's such a good way to go out. But now they continued it and they went, it's basically a space show now. It's just like Firefly and stuff.
Oh, really?
They're in space. Crazy stuff's going on. So
cool.
That's what I'm watching. I just wanted to
never
miss an opportunity to call it out.
I saw the first episode of Euphoria on HBO.
I gotta watch it.
I thought it was pretty cool. The way it was shot, lit, written, it's very honest and brutal kind of look at like teenagehood, I guess. Much more intense. What?
Right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I love it.
Way more intense than my teenage years. I wasn't doing any drugs or drinking or any of that stuff, but I guess I was a prude.
Prudian.
But one of the main characters is trans, and I think that the way they're representing her is really pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. The show has a lot of potential. I also watched the first episode of Big Little Lies, season 1.
2?
Season one. I just started it. Pretty cool.
Yes.
Weird editing. The pacing of the edit was very intense.
Because it's Wild Guy.
What?
What's his name? Like Dennis something.
From the Reese Witherspoon movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
His same thing. Like his whole thing is those like cool like snap edits to the mind. Like this is what I'm thinking. Oh, flashback, boom, back.
Yeah.
Which I like. I like that style.
No, once I got used to it, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Also, I like how just like weird that show is. Like, I've only seen the first episode of season 1, but it's just like all out of order and stuff. It's very cool. Anyway,
can't wait for the update.
Yeah,
so good.
I have to keep up with it.
Because Meryl Streep joined the cast.
Ooh,
and it's amazing. Streep let off the chain, dude.
She off the chain?
Meryl Streep let loose in Big Little Lies season 2. Like, honestly, I doubt they even wrote a script. They were just like, yo, Meryl Streep,
you're mad about this, go.
Yeah.
And she was just like, fine.
Yeah. Yo.
I imagine she like leaves the room. She like, they're like, Meryl, here's what we had in mind. This is kind of the scenario. We didn't write anything for you. We trust you. And she goes, give me 5 minutes. She leaves the room, comes back with a full wardrobe, a whole character, and just nails every scene.
Yep.
She has like physicality like nailed down. Huber, I was working on my monologue a little bit the other day during the podcast. Actually, there's a section in the middle of the podcast where it just stays on the wide. It's because I had an idea for my monologue.
Can you give us a one-word tease? Is that allowed?
Iago.
Okay. Excellent tease. Excellent.
All right. Thank you, everybody. This has been Reaction Shots, video game movie adaptations. We will see you again next month. The second Friday, I forget. I set up all my shows to be like the final Friday, the second Friday, the third Monday. So now I'm all perplexed. Anyway, the show comes out next month. If you're in the $7 or up group on or patron tier on Patreon, you get to submit and be in the discussions. And I really love it. The people in the discussion group are talking with each other. Excuse me. And it's just a really fun kind of thing. The comments are always really cool. I really enjoy that. So, yeah, if that's something that appeals to you, check it out. And you get this episode early. So, yeah.
There was something I wanted to say like 4 times.
Say it.
Your thumbnail looks like the Eye of Sauron. Was that what you were going for?
For what?
Your thumbnail, your actual thumb, not your like thumbnail. Yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about thumbnail? I haven't done my nails. I have red with a black line in the middle.
I'm getting the Eye of Sauron vibe, like on that.
Yeah, it looks
right there.
It definitely does look a little Eye of Sauron.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna do red with black French tips, but then Sophia said French tips were 290s, and so I just did a line down the middle.
Nice. Good advice.
I don't know.
Now you're going for like the Sith Darth Maul vibe though, too. Or Easy Allies.
They got all chipped. Yeah, well, I did red and black because it was E3 and they're Easy Allies colors.
Nice.
But, yeah. I'll have to change them because they're all E3'd out now. They're all scuffed up. Nice. I didn't put a top coat.
Top coat.
Top coat. Top Gun from the top.
Is Top Gun going to be good?
They're making another Top Gun?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Tom Cruise back in action.
Tom Cruise is in it?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Guess I'll have to see the original. Goodbye.
Don't tell Jones you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
He'll be upset.